Everybody, peace. Welcome to another episode. And today I'm going to be talking about an interesting sign that they are the problem and not you.
From beautiful seas to flourishing legacies.
So what got me really thinking about this episode was this feeling that we have sometimes when we are around someone who might make us feel a certain way, or we feel around this person. And what good people tend to do when they are around someone who is toxic is look at themselves. Now, this is a beautiful quality. And with this quality is this accountability that we have. We wonder, what did I do to cause this reaction from this person? What did I do to make this happen? What did I do? And this is good when it is in balance, but it becomes something that is self-deprecating. It becomes something that is very dangerous to our sense of self when we allow it to really let other people treat us in a certain way, because we are blaming ourselves for the way they are treating us. Now, an interesting thing to keep in mind is this question of, is it really you or is it them, right? And most of the time it's both people who are causing this problem between each other. A lot of the time it is like that. Now, what is the problem I'm talking about? So say, for example, someone is gaslighting you, someone is guilt tripping you, someone is manipulating you, and all of these things are things which can take a very long time for us to accept are actually happening. But when they happen, they can feel extremely like, oh my gosh, is this real? Is it my fault? Is it all in my head? They might do things which are passive aggressive. They might take a little bit longer to reply to your message when they previously have a very different pattern of communicating with you. You might have said something and you know that you upset them by saying this, even though it was something very innocent, but it offended them somehow, and they lash out on you and they treat you a certain way. So the way that I have found in dealing with toxic people to find out if it really is me or it is them is really a really interesting and powerful way of knowing that who the one to blame is. Now, as I said, when there is something, a kind of conflict between two people, especially even when the conflict is from a narcissist and someone who is the narcissistic victim, both parties have a hand in this dynamic. And the way that is that the person who is narcissistic is a kind of person who is very aggressive. They are very controlling. They like to have things a certain way. They will fight for it. And then the person who is with that person, or in relationship with them, whether it is romantic or whether it is their child or whatever the dynamic is allowing it to happen. That's where the fault is there. It's just allowing it to happen. It's having a passive role where your anger, and I'm not saying this is blameworthy, I'm saying that this is your kind of involvement in this dynamic. There is an involvement there. Otherwise, the dynamic between the narcissist or someone who is toxic and someone who is with that person, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work if both parties didn't have their hands inside of the whatever it is, right? Inside of the relationship, inside of the candy, whatever. But the point is, it wouldn't work unless both parties have an agreement, an unsaid agreement of sorts. So the way that the person who is with the toxic person, let's just call it a person who is maybe a people pleaser, is that they have a lack of boundaries. They are allowing the other person to take from them. They are allowing themselves to give to them, and so on. So it can be, like I said, extremely confusing to know whether it's you or whether it's them. And to an extent, it's both of you, right? It's the person allowing something to be taken from them, whether it is energy, whether it is anything else, more material even, and then there is the person who is taking. And it's like I said, it's a sad asynchronous relationship which just works, and then what happens is You might come to a feeling that you've been so used to all your life letting people take from you, not having boundaries, not saying no, not showing anger because it's something that a good person just doesn't do. And then what happens is you get to a stage where you begin to realize this isn't working anymore. People are taking advantage. You're physically sick, you're emotionally exhausted, and there are so many just negative feelings that you're going through. And then what happens is you decide, I want to do something to change it. Now, your red flag detector, if you have lived a life around toxic people and you've been raised in a certain environment, you might not be able to recognize the red flags, and it can get extremely confusing. And there are so many ways you can actually figure out, is it you or is it them? You can ask other people to get involved. You can take notes and just document everything, and then you can emotionally regulate yourself and your body, and then just really see things objectively without the whole kind of blinders of the emotions involved. But one way that I found so profound was when I was in communication with a covert narcissist. Now, the covert narcissist is someone who is very passive. They are not obvious. They work in a way which is under the radar. You know, they'll literally, I think people describe it as something like 1,000 needles inside of your back, and you then you realize, oh, okay, this has been a slow burn, and now I feel like I'm basically I'm completely shaky, I'm completely wounded, and you feel a certain way, right? So the way that I found was that sometimes this is something hopefully that works for you, but what happens is that if you feel with every part of you that you want this person to be a good person and you want them to work out, you want this dynamic to work out because maybe you have so many things attached to it. Maybe it's a work relationship, maybe it's a romantic relationship, your children are involved, and you so want it to work with every single part of you. But then what tends to happen is they keep doing these things, and then there's like this feeling of unease, and then there's this disappointment, and then unease, and then you kind of like hope again. That's a sign that it's them and it's not you as much. And the reason why that is a powerful sign is because every part of you wants it not to be true. And then when they keep breaking that trust, is not something that you are trying to control. It's something that you are trying to see the best in a person. You're trying to assume good, and they keep breaking it, and they keep breaking it, and they keep breaking it. And by breaking it, I mean they keep breaking your trust. They keep disrespecting you. They keep acting a certain way. And you, every time they do it, this feeling comes over you like, I wish it wasn't true. I wish it wasn't true. Now, some people, you might feel an instant repulsion towards them when they treat you a certain way, and that sometimes could be because you have been triggered by them. They remind you of someone, or they are really doing something to you and you just don't really like them too much. But when you genuinely like a person and you are feeling like they are doing something, but then you really keep telling yourself it's not true, it's me, it's not true, it's me, then that's a sign that it's probably not you, it's them, because you really want them to be good. You really want this to work, and you have given everything, and you will keep giving everything to make it work until you have nothing else to give. And that is a sign that you shouldn't continue with letting yourself be treated a certain way. In fact, it's a sign that it's a time to take a step back and really assess the people in our lives who are making it very difficult and who are causing us a lot of pain, even if they are people who we wish with every part of us wouldn't do that. And that is hopefully something that will lead you to have more self-awareness and more wisdom in how you deal with certain people and who we let into our lives, and we create those boundaries. Now, the whole process of self-work and self-help, there's so many things are involved in it. There's so many things you can do, but I do want to let you know that one of the most powerful ways to do this is through being around a community of people who are in similar boats as you, and some people who will listen to you, and people who will support you as well. And that is why I'm excited to be launching a group coaching cohort, and I invite you, please join the waiting list. All the information is underneath this video. And I also have a free downloadable from my book, The Woke Writer, which is all about letting go. And I hope that you do take advantage of these resources. And I will see you in the next video. Have a beautiful and blessed day, everyone. Peace.